One of the most popular musicals on Broadway is Hamilton. In this musical, there are multiple references about slavery, and after Alexander Hamilton's premature death, his widow states that he would have spoke out against slavery if only he had more time. What does a Broadway musical have to do with Christianity? This video is going to focus on the religion that Eliza Schuyler Hamilton was raised in, the Dutch Reformed Church. The Dutch Reformed Church has its roots in the Protestant Reformation and the Calvinist movement. The movement in the Netherlands would form the Dutch Reformed Church. And the first meeting of the Dutch Reformed Church in New Amsterdam was in 1628, when about 50 people met in a mill loft. According to the official website of the Reformed Church in America, this congregation continues to meet today, and it is the oldest evangelical church in North America with continuous ministry. The Dutch Reformed Church congregations held their services in Dutch and did not incorporate English into their services until 1764. In Ron Chernow's Alexander Hamilton, Chernow mentions that Eliza was devout and that the Schuyler family would sit through long sermons in the Dutch language in their church in Albany. When America became independent, the church severed its ties with Europe, and this caused division within the church. Many congregants fled to Canada. By the 19th century, as the Dutch identity in America faded, the church renamed itself the Reformed Church in America in 1867. How is a church governed? According to Kenneth Shefsiek's article, Dutch Reformed Congregationalism in New Netherland, in New York History, it stated that the church fell into accordance of a 1619 document called the Church Order of Dort, which state that they rejected ecclesiastical independence and hierarchy, and that they aimed to link members, congregations, ministers, governments into a tight-knit web of collaborative relationships. The church was supposed to fall into accordance with the church in Europe. However, congregations in North America did not always fall into line, and this created tension between authoritarian Europe and the colonies that were getting a desire for independence. Like many colonial institutions, the Dutch Reformed Church had to reconcile Christianity with the reality of slavery. The first enslaved Africans were brought to New Netherland in 1626. The church soon found itself navigating the questions about whether enslaved people should be baptized or receive religious instruction or even participate. According to Gerald DeJong's study in church history, the church accepted slavery was part of social order, with Dutch farmers in the Hudson Valley in New Jersey being among the most extensive users of slave labor. Despite the acceptance of slavery, the church emphasized that masters had a duty to provide religious instruction and provide spiritual care to enslaved people. DeJong also states that ministers would look to the mother church for guidance. However, they did not feel comfortable about speaking out against slavery because slavery was such a big part of the Dutch economy. Talar Mazio mentions in this biography, Eliza Hamilton, the extraordinary life and times of the wife of Alexander Hamilton, that her father, Philip Schuyler, owned slaves. Eliza grew up having to reconcile this and what it meant to spiritually care for the enslaved. In conclusion, Eliza Hamilton's Dutch Reformed upbringing is a good example of a deeply rooted Calvinist tradition and the contradictions of a church adapting to life in America. Lastly, I think it's interesting to note that during Eliza's married life, she attended Trinity Church in New York City, which was an Episcopalian church. Was it due to losing her Dutch identity, or was there another reason she changed churches? Eliza Hamilton shows us that religion is never static and not immune to historical events. Thank you.